Hey, what's up everybody? Today I'm going to be showing you how to use both Boujou and Hitfilm to Ultimate to track and add 3D elements into your project. So right now I'm going to go ahead and click Import Sequence. This is all we need to do right now. This is going to look a bit confusing right now initially, and it's kind of a bummer. They don't really have any desktop or anything like that, so you're gonna have to click your C drive, maybe find your users. This is me, and I'm just gonna try to find my my file would be in videos, so I'm going to go right here and pick my file I want to use. So that's going to go ahead and put this into our image sequence, and the only things you really need to worry about here is your frame rate. Mine is actually 23.976, so I'm just going to switch it back to that. Alright, as long as everything here looks good, we're going to go ahead and click OK. So we can go ahead and scrub through it, make sure everything looks pretty good as we want it to. And now is simply we just press track features. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Click advanced and just bump up our sensitivity all the way up to get everything possible. And now start. This shouldn't take too terribly long. It'll give you an estimate on the time. I'm going to go ahead and speed and or cut to the end so you can see how it looks. Okay, so as you can see now we are done. And if we just scrub through here, we can see our potential tracks. And with something like this, you really want to make sure that your scene has a lot of data. Like with this, back here, not so much as you can see these gaps even. But down here, a lot of green and a lot of white, and just kind of a mixture here. So there's a lot more as compared to up here. It's kind of sparse. So the next thing you need to do to kind of finalize every track, simply click this camera solve right here, and let me just move that up here. The only thing you need to do with this is click optimize camera path smoothness to just make everything a little more smooth. So to start that, shouldn't take too terribly long, but I'm going to go ahead and pause it just to skip through things. Okay, so now as we can see here, we've got a lot of blue, not too much yellow. That's the best. Blue is, of course, the best. Alright, so now we are going to go ahead and click Scene Geometry here. And this is just to tell Boujou where we are in the world. Because to Boujou, this is just simply a big compile of images, which it doesn't know whether this tree is far from down here or if this is flat or whatever. So we're just going to tell it what's what. So just click add chord from hint, and we're just going to go ahead and start with the z-axis. So we're just going to go and we can see here, I can zoom in a little bit. The ideal world, you click something here, control click for PC users, command for Mac, and just click another one here. So you can just kind of tell it, yeah, here it is, front to back. This is what you need to know. So connect to selected. We're going to add another coordinate. This one is going to be our x-axis. So we're going to pick something maybe here, and here. Sure. It doesn't totally matter. You kind of want to let it know. You know, we want it to be kind of parallel with each other. Connect to selected. One more. This one is going to be our origin. So this, ideally, you kind of want here in the middle, something like that. So connect to selected again, and update that a couple times just to make sure. So now if we kind of scrub through, we don't really see anything, but here's where we can really tell the difference. So we'll just click Add Test Object, and as you can already see, just close that. Well, before I close it, I'll let you know You can pick different things: cube, a plane, pyramid, but the ladybird is kind of showing a lot of different things. So if we scrub through, we can tell that our camera solve and scene geometry worked very well, because now Boujou knows what's the floor and what's not. So now we are, before we export though, we need to do one little thing, because Boujou kind of likes to glitch up a little bit. Click this task view right here, and cameras, double click that, double click camera 1, close that, then just click sequence 1. Alright, so here's our image sequence, and as you can see, it jumped back to 25 as the default. Not sure why. Back to 23, or whatever yours is. Okay, and now we are good to go. Just scrub through that one more time just to be sure. It's fine. Back to Toolbox, or we could click Export here. It doesn't really matter. Export camera. And now, here's the fun part. Most of the time, you should start from the top to the bottom. I don't know why, but it just kind of glitches up if you start from the bottom, go to the top. It doesn't really matter where you put your file. I'm just going to go ahead and put it on my desktop here. And just name it something random like that. If we're going to Hitfilm or After Effects, we will need to use this .ma file. Now if you are using something like Cinema 4D, click that, whatever you need. So that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. We just need to scale this to, say, 1000. Looking again, everything looks fine. So now we will just save. And just like that we were done. So now we're going to move over to Hitfilm and import our tracking data into Hitfilm. So now we just started Hitfilm 2 Ultimate, and we get this front page. So we're just going to go ahead and make a new project. Doesn't really matter what the different video properties are right now. Let's go ahead and start editing. So now here we go. We just click import and then 3D camera tracking data. So we're just going to go to where we know it is, wherever it might be, and set our frame rate back to our own frame rate that we know. And this is the nice part about Boujou versus like PFO or anything else, is like with PFO or even Mocha's Hitfilm, it doesn't just give you enough points. Like PFO, it gives you like 4 points for a really good track or something like that. But with this Boujou, we can pick just about as much as we want. 50, more than enough. So we're just going to go ahead and click create, let it do its thing, and now we are in our composite shot showing all 50 points. So if we simply grab a random point and scrub through, you can see that it is perfectly in sync with the video, and you can even see this plane. For the most part, it is on the floor, and the best way it can be with a 2D video. So now you're probably wondering how I got this car in here, and so I'm going to go ahead and drag in my car model. So if you don't know how to do that, it's easy. Just click import again, 3D model. And so I already have it right here. You just find it. Mine was in videos, whatever this is called, down here. I've had a bad experience with 3ds, the model file. I don't know why. Just if you can find an OBJ file for your model, that would be great, in my personal experience. So we're going to go ahead and let this load up, and here it is, perfectly nice. It's looking fancy. In fact, it's looking a bit computer generated. We can do some things to fix this, and like say you know, we can go ahead and look around here. These are all the different groups. Yours might have one group. That means it was all modeled with just one group. Mine has several, which is a good thing. You kind of want as much as you want, especially if you're gonna be editing anything. In fact, I got so much I can't even find the stuff I want, like wheels. It's gonna take a while, so I'm not even gonna bother with that. But say you wanted to animate this for whatever reason. Say you got something exploding out of that. So you're just going to go ahead and check that. I won't right now. I don't need to animate anything. But in our materials, if we can find, hold on a second, our windows. Here we go. Our windows. And if we look rather close, we can see that there's not much shading, and most cars kind of have a nice tint to them. So it's pretty basic. All you need to do is kind of just kind of adjust how you like. Bring up their opacity a little bit, a little more reflectivity. You know, not too much. You can adjust all this stuff later. I'll show you how in a sec. You know, that's way too much shininess. You know, you kind of want something in between. So that's looking okay. You know, you just customize it to how you want. And this front, its opacity is at 100%. I'm not really sure why. It doesn't really make sense to be that way. And the seats in there, they're like way too just bright. So we're gonna just tone them down a little bit. And one way to do it would be to, well, no, that's not a very good way to do it. If we kind of pick their color, kind of just bring it down a little bit. You know, a little further. It's just all your choice, really. Just to kind of make it blend a little better. So that's okay for now. You know, we could get into the advanced settings. I could do another tutorial if you really wanted me to. So I'm just gonna go ahead and click create. So now it just pops it in here. We're just gonna go ahead and put it on top of everything. And look at that. Already, if we scrub through things, it's just gonna stick right there, and that's just fine. That's just fine. So it's looking a bit weird, and this floor plane, it's right underneath it, kind of. It's just kind of messed up. So we're gonna move our views to 2, and maybe make this the front view. Back up a little bit using my mouse scroll wheel, and we have this selected, so we're just gonna pull them up a little bit, just right. And I'm gonna zoom in a little more. Right clicking to hold the hand tool, and just a tad lower, just touching the floor plane. And if we go back to our first view, we can see already, although it doesn't look like it's in it, it just looks better. And so we're just going to grab this green, rotate around a little bit, just make it look more, I don't know, as realistic as a car in the grass can look. And see, dragging around, it looks pretty good, except for the fact that it looks nothing like a real car. And so if we want it to look really good, we're just going to grab this, go to our controls, and here's the fun part. You know, you can resize it whatever you'd like. Undo that. Material, this is the fun part. Ambient occlusion. You just click that, and all of a sudden, bam, bam, you can see, maybe I'll go into my perspective here, grab my orbit tool, B shortcut. You can see it's already looking a lot better, and just a tad, you know, like, see, look, I'll turn it off. There. You can already see that with ambient occlusion on, it kind of basically makes shadows for itself. So another thing to do would be grab a layer, light, and this is a really bad light, and I would not call this a good light in any light. What have I done? I've messed things up. So we're just going to grab that light and move to our perspective briefly. And if we look at our orbit tool, that's my problem. I didn't click my move tool, which is quite silly of me. So we're just going to grab it up. Look at that. It's already looking beautiful. Wow, look at that. The beauty. You know, move it a little to the back. So now we're just going to go back to our active camera. Whoa, it's seriously bright. So we're just going to click our light again and click our light here. And we're just going to take that intensity down way off. And you're like, what on earth is he doing? He's making it look awful. Well, fear not, for I have an answer. If we click curve, it makes it awful dark. But if we move it back down, you will see that the curve adjusts its intensity according to how close it is to our object, which is pretty fancy when you think about it. So let's say my shot is kind of a bad example. It's pretty cloudy, so we're just gonna customize it how we want. I don't know. I worked a lot on this last time. I don't really feel the need to work total advanced mode here, but you get the general idea. In fact, I can't stand that. It has to go down the intensity on that one. Yeah, something like that. I'm not saying it looks perfect because it does not, but you can tweak it however you like later on. So to grab shadows down here, it's pretty simple. You just grab your plane, be safe, make it like 3000 by 3000 or something. We're just gonna make that white and create, and then it's like you're like, whoa, what happened? Click 3D plane, and then layer property. Nope, not layer properties. Transform. Just it doesn't really matter. Anchor point or position for this one. Just 90 degrees. Maybe it does matter. 90 degrees. Nope. I'm not sure what I'm doing here. $90 degrees, and just take that down here. In fact, we want our plane to be under our object. Bam. How do you like that? So we're just going to move it, move it, move it, move it. And so now, if we go back to our lights and click Cast Shadows, and click Cast Shadows, and wait for it, click off Illuminated. No, not for our object file, our plane. Where are you, plane? Turn off that illuminated. And something should happen. Something should definitely be happening. Alright, so we're gonna figure out what the problem is here. There we go. Okay. I realized that all you need to do is click on your object and click Cast Shadows, which is kind of misleading. You think receiving shadows, but I don't really understand it. You don't really understand it. We don't really just understand it. So say you got this great thing going, yada yada, but you have a favorite light, right? You got that one special light that you just love. I don't know which one I should use. Maybe both of them. So we're just going to right click, duplicate them, and accept the interesting thing we're going to be doing now is simply, let's just go to our light layer here. We're going to turn off its intensity. So now this might feel very strange to you, but you can still move around and make a shadow even though there is no light coming from this duplicate. So, you know, there we go, something like that. I don't really know exactly. Do it with the other light too. In fact, let's just pick one that looks really nice. None of these look really nice, I'll admit. But you get the picture. You can move it around, do your thing. And you're like, man, how do I get this white thing, out of here? It's going crazy. I don't want it. It's not cool. So just go and grab your plane. And let's just change your transform. Just kidding. Let's change your layer properties to blend and then multiply. Add would take away the darkness and leave the light. Multiply will do the exact opposite. So you're kind of getting the picture now. Things are things are looking slightly better. Again, adjust it to your will. I will go back even to the object just to show you that you can fiddle around more. That's awful looking. We'll just make that total black. And we'll just make it really, really not that great. And we're just going to click OK. And bam, auto updates. Let's just go back to our perspective again just to kind of get a look at how everything's going. Whoa, it's pretty crazy. And again, if you look at the tracks, this is the amazing part to me, is you have your camera, and your camera that we did with Boujou automatically tracks to whatever is happening with your real camera. It's going to imitate it like in real life. All your little tracks here are doing your bidding, sitting here horizontally. It's just looking good. So we're going to go back to our active camera. And if we just drag it around a little bit, you can see how nice it's looking now. You know, things are looking on the bright side. But you're like, man, I could really use some reflection on my windows, right? Well, easy to do. You just click your, turn off your object, maybe even click options, export frame. I already have one here, I guess. I kind of forgot about that. So we're just gonna double click here and just import where we saved our environment map picture. So we're just gonna drag it plop down here somewhere. Okay, so we're gonna have to turn that off too. So now when we go to our model and we click controls and we click, let's just close this stuff. If we click material, environment map, let's switch it from none to use layer, and that layer will be our image. And you could already see, if I just turn that off again, look at these side windows here. You can already see a slight difference because it is looking around and realizing, hey, you know, I am going to start reflecting whatever is around me. And you're like, man, I can't see anything. So you just go back to your model, whatever. Let me see if I can find my front. There it is. And just turn on both the diffuse and the specular. Reflectivity, I'm going to bump it up really high just to show you what it looks like. It's probably going to go really crazy. No, not really actually, so let's bump that up a little more. I remember which one it is. Just bump up both of the reflectivity, and you can already see kind of a real-time change here. If I switch it from 0, you can see that difference here from 0 to 70. Bam. All right, so then just go to your windows or whatever, same thing. Just bump it from, 70. I'm going a little crazy here, but that's okay. It's all for the show. Okay, look at that. So now when you're moving around, you're like, whoa, it's looking pretty gnarly. Yes, it is. All right. So for the most part, it's looking pretty good, if a little basic. And again, if you think it's looking a bit too clear or whatever, you can just grab your environment map again, right click, make composite shot, and grab your blur effect. Just take that down, grab onto that. We're going to turn that back on for a sec. It's looking pretty blurry, but that's kind of the effect we want. So we're just going to go back. As you can see, maybe it's a bit too blurry. We can't really see anything now. So it's all to your will. And there we go. That was my slight issue. So now it's looking more like a reflection. And our shadow, it's still not really looking that great. But there are more tutorials on how to do this more advanced. I'm just giving you the basics of it and how to track things, kind of like my shot at the beginning. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you learned a thing or two about both Boujou and Hitfilm. Hit me down below with any comments, questions you have, and I will be very glad to answer them. Thanks for sticking with me to the end.